problem. Oh, let me welcome everyone first. So today is the 4th of July, 2024. We have met again, as we always do on Thursdays, very consistently to read and discuss Consciencism, another name from Nkrumahism, that Sonny Ade says will never die. So welcome, those of us who are here, Brother Pigeon, Brother Joseph from the Caribbean, Miss Amira based in the UK, Brother Pigeon based in Kenya, and myself based in the UK, but in another part of the UK. So welcome to you all. We shall proceed with reading and then we shall share our thinking. So hopefully others will join us, and those who can't join us will hear or listen to our video on YouTube, where we share it widely. And also, I believe, on X, Brother Pigeon. Is that correct? On X as well. So, Sister Myra, are you able to read for us? Because sometimes I know where you are. It's hard to read, yeah. If you can, please read the highlighted paragraph for us. Thank you. If you can't, okay, I'm just reading the chat. Maybe Sister Myra has put something in the chat. Okay, she says, I am out. Okay, all right. Thank you very much, Sister Myra. Sister Myra, remember, my Kwame is with an I at the end, yeah? I'm not like Osajifo, Dr. Nkrumah. He has the E at the end. I spelled mine with the I. The same sound as in Swahili, yeah? That sound, that E sound, yeah? Kwame. Yeah, thank you. All right, Sister Mara says she can't read, so because of where she is. So, Brother Joseph, are you able to read for us? If not, of course you can pass.
No, I have difficulty reading on the screen because it's too.
No problem.
It's too small for my eyesight. I have eye challenges.
No problem, brother. Sister Ida has joined us, so maybe she will be able to read for us. If not, then Brother Carrington is also here. Wonderful. Yes, sir. It's Ida. Where's Zo?
I'm afraid I don't think if somebody else could read, it would be better. Thank you.
No problem. No problem. Our resident physicist is here. Brother Pigeon also is here. So I'm sure, and I am here. One of us, I'm sure, can read. So maybe we should ask Brother Pigeon to read the first paragraph, and then for us. Brother Pigeon, are you able to? I know you are managing things in the background.
Yes.
I want to keep an eye on that, so maybe we should excuse you. Is that okay?
I can read, or you can as well excuse me.
Good. No, it's fine. If you can read, please proceed.
Okay.
Read the first paragraph, and then Brother Carrington will read the second one.
Okay.
And the first one is shorter than the second one, so I think because you are keeping an eye on the background, that's fine. Yeah. Yes, please.
On the only recorded opportunity which Thales had of translating his metaphysics into politics, he firmly urged unity on the balkanized Ionian states. This was hardly surprising, as he had asserted the unity of nature. The Ionians paid scant heed to him, and they were duly undone.
Interesting. This is a message for Pan-Africanists. If we don't unite, we shall be duly undone. Brother Pigeon, Brother Carrington, read the second paragraph for us, please.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome, sir.
The point which I am anxious to make is not merely that the earliest philosophies carried implications of a political and social nature, and so were warmly connected with the actualities of life. I am suggesting that these philosophies were reflections of social currents, that they arose from social exigencies. Thus, Thales philosophy needed if it was to destroy the allegedly heaven-sanctioned aristocratic society to assert the irrelevance of a pantheon. And this he did in attempt to bring all explanation of nature within the ambit of nature itself. A revolutionary, as opposed to a reformist, attenuation of clerical influence called not for an amelioration here and there of social inequalities, the smoothing of this sharp corner and the trimming of that eminence, but for a total rejection of the idea of social inequality. That, in metaphysics, which implies this rejection of social inequality, is precisely that which is common to all monists, those who assert the unity of nature and of different kinds of things as only different manifestations of the same thing. Thank you.
Interesting. Thank you so much, brothers, for reading. So I know Sister Ida will ask, what do these words mean? So let's look at some keywords. Exigencies, pantheon, and monism. What do they mean? So let's deal with those, and then we will then share our thinking. So are we all happy with those three words that I've picked up that we think we should understand? Are we all happy with those, or does anyone think there are others? Brother Pigeon, I know you are able to show on the sidebar definitions. Are you able to do that for us?
Yeah, I'm working on that. Let me do that.
Excellent. So let's give Brother Pigeon a few minutes to do that. So the three keywords I'm thinking will help us share our thinking are exigencies as the first, then pantheon as the second, and then I'm thinking the third is monism. So I think let's look at exigencies first. All right. Brother Pigeon, can you just pick the word exigencies only rather than social exigencies? Just pick exigencies only.
Yes, the meaning has also only brought only the meaning of exigency.
I know it has, but pick only exigencies and see what happens to the definition, what will come up. Exigencies, yeah. So you see it's giving us a different page. So exigency is an urgent need or demand. So social exigencies will be an urgent need or demand that is social, means from society. Are we all happy with that? So when a society has an urgent need or demand, that is what is meant here. Thank you for that. The second word is pantheon, which is 2 lines from where you are. Pantheon. What does pantheon mean?
Group.
Put definition so that it tells us, it doesn't take us to so put the word definition. Pantheon.
Collection.
Yeah. So put after pantheon, put definition. Then at the end, yeah, leave a space and then put definition. That's it. And that will give us the actual word, yeah. Pantheon definition. Okay. Definition. So scroll up, scroll down, let's see. Definition. Pantheon. Yeah. We don't want photos. So you scroll down, then we'll see this got definition down there. Okay, I think you've passed it. That's it. So pantheon is a group of particular respected, famous, or important people. Right? So you can see the meaning of its use here. which means the aristocratic priesthood are a pantheon. That group of priests are what are meant here by the pantheon. Another meaning is the second one, which is all the gods of people origin collectively. So that means the Greek gods collectively, who for their spokesmen and women, not women, only spokesmen at the time because of patriarchy, were the aristocratic priesthood. So the pantheon here has two meanings. First, the gods, the Greek gods, and secondly, their spokesmen, which were the aristocratic priesthood. Thank you for that. The third and final word is monism or monists. Yeah, that one, monists. Again, what does it mean? Because I find when we do this, it helps some of us understand the paragraph. So monism attributes oneness or singleness to a concept, such as to existence. So the central idea is that it's oneness, singleness, not different things, but one thing. So that we've understood those three keywords, let's now share our thinking from on the only recorded opportunity to only different manifestations of the same thing. Thank you. So where shall we start? Let's start with Brother, I know Brother DJP joined us whilst we were reading. Brother DJ Mr. P, are you able to share your thinking on these two paragraphs? We've looked at the meaning of the words, exigencies, which is urgent demand. We've looked at pantheon, which is a group of famous people or gods. And then we've looked at the meaning of monism, which is oneness. Unmute yourself if you can. If not, no problem. We'll move on. So in our class, we go around and we share our thinking. And so, so we'll go around and let everyone share their thinking. Why? Because we want to learn from one another. We are all equal here in this class, and we share our thinking. And by sharing our thinking, we all learn from one another. Nobody should apologize for their thinking. There's no need. Just say what you think. You don't have to agree with what is on the screen. You can disagree. But if you disagree, you must tell us why, so that we think about why you disagree. And then we can either also agree or disagree with you. Brother DJ Mrs. Pieces, I've been listening in the kitchen, unable to talk on time. Okay, no problem, brother DJ Mr. P.
Could we get one more word, please?
Which one?
Ameliorate. Yeah, an amelioration here.
Amelioration means to make things better.
Okay. Yeah, easy.
Yeah, to ameliorate is to make things better. That I know because it's Latin, and I did Latin in secondary school.
and during slavery, they had the amelioration in the Caribbean to ameliorate the pain of the slaves.
Yeah, thank you. Okay, so Brother Joseph, first of all, Sister Tapua, Brother Jacob, Brother Simon, welcome to today's class. You are most welcome. We are very happy to see you, and welcome.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Sorry I'm late.
Oh, don't apologize, sister. It's wonderful that you're here. You know, that's the most important.
So much.
So let's hear from Brother Joseph. Are you able to share your thinking?
I would like to hear it read again because, as I say, I can't read the thing on.
That's fair enough. That's fair enough. Yeah, that's fair enough. Brother, yeah, thank you, brother Pigeon. Can you read your paragraph again? Yes.
Brother Kwame,
yes, sir.
I think Brother Joseph must be having this in text because I shared it as a text message also. So maybe can you respond to it?
Yeah, it says he has difficulty reading, so We have to read for him to hear.
If I have to read it on my phone, I have to get out of this.
That's what I mean. Yeah, no, it's fine. Yeah,
but
so
if
Brother Pigeon, he says
I
he can't read it because of.
I have a
his phone,
general idea of what it is, but if I need to hear it again, so if I need to
no
make a
need to apologize, brother. It's fine.
Okay.
Brother Pigeon was just trying to be helpful. Brother Pigeon, read your paragraph, and then Brother Carrington. Those of you who don't know, we are so delighted to have Brother Carrington always with us. He's our resident physicist, meaning that if there's any argument over the physics, he is the authority here, and what he says is final. No one can challenge what he says. Thank you. So, Brother Pigeon, read your paragraph, and then Brother Carrington will read his paragraph. Thank you.
On the only recorded opportunity which Thales had of translating his metaphysics into politics, he firmly urged unity on the balkanized Ionian states or Ionian states. This was hardly surprising, as he had asserted the unity of nature. The Ionians paid scant heed to him, and they were duly undone.
Brother Carrington, continue.
Thank you. The point which I am anxious to make is not merely that the earliest philosophies carried implications of a political and social nature, and so were warmly connected to the actualities of life. I am suggesting that these philosophies were reflections of social currents, that they arose from social exigencies.
Slow down a bit for us, please. Thank you.
Sorry?
Slow down a bit for us. Thank you.
Okay. Sorry.
Okay.
Thus, Thales' philosophy needed, if it was to destroy the allegedly heaven-sanctioned aristocratic society, to assert the irrelevance of a pantheon. And this he did in his attempt to bring all explanation of nature within the ambit of nature itself. A revolutionary, as opposed to a reformist, attenuation of clerical influence called not for an amelioration here and there of social inequalities, the soothing of this sharp corner and the trimming of that eminence, but for a total rejection of the idea of social inequality. That, in metaphysics, which implies this rejection of social inequality, is precisely that which is common to all monists. Those who assert the unity of nature and of different kinds of things as only different manifestations of the same thing. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Brother Joseph, is that more helpful?
Yeah,
Are you able to, or do you want us to come back to you?
Yeah. But probably I could try. Although
Excellent.
I must say that I've been affected by the hurricane here, so my mind is not so fully,
Sorry. Before you share your thinking, then.
But let me say.
Before you share your thinking, and tell us a bit about the hurricane. What is the situation now?
I'll say, but let me see, because I have to sort of struggle to keep my thoughts together because of the impact and also the continuing effect. But I would say, in terms of the passage.
Sorry, but is it still going on, the hurricane? Has it stopped? Or is it still windy?
Well, there's
raining?
The aftermath of the hurricane is that the recovery and what had been discovered. I mean, Grenada been affected very severely. I mean, in one part, but the Ward Island of Carriacou and PT Martinique have been totally devastated.
Sorry to hear that. Yeah.
Other parts of the Caribbean, including Jamaica, and then we expect that Belize would be hit soon. I mean, these are things. We are all part of one region, so all of that is affecting my consciousness. But let me see if I could elaborate a little on the passage.
But Brother Joseph, sorry, but you are okay, yeah? Because you are here with us, so that tells us at least you are okay.
That demonstrates my
Excellent.
commitment to the process. But what my understanding,
we thank the ancestors. Thank you. Please proceed.
my understanding of what is being written here is that it is a evolution from the thinking that a group of people has superiority or has some radical stratification where you have ladders of importance of people basically in the end. But it's from the philosophy here is that it was governed by this idea of these heaven-sanctioned or something from above that has a layer of beings or gods or something like that. And what Thales was trying to do was to destroy that by advancing that, and notwithstanding what in the social inequality in the society, what was needed was that the oneness of all, the sameness of, or the equality of all, even though, they might appear to be different, including in nature, the value of all, and not some more value than others. This is basically what I understand. And it also goes from the movement from pantheism, which is the belief in in a series of God, to the oneness, which ties into the evolution where people end up believing in the one God. System.
Yeah, thank you very much, brother.
It influences the evolution of the society eventually. I hope I've made sense.
You have. You always do, sir. Thank you for sharing your thinking with us. Let's hear from sister. So I like to go from brother, sister, sister, brother. So we move from men to women in that way. So I hope you don't mind. So let's hear from Sister Tapua. Of course, remember you can always pass if you feel that you're not ready to share. Yeah, we'll come back to you. Yeah, right. Sister Tapua, are you able to share? I know you're. Sister Tapua's internet has been unsteady, so she's gone off again. Brother Glenroy, welcome. So her internet has gone off again. So yeah, when she comes back, I'm sure she will be able to contribute. So brother Glenroy, we've read the 2 paragraphs on the screen, and we are just about to share our thinking. In fact, brother Joseph from Grenada has already shared his thinking, and he's also shared with us the state of the hurricane, which I'm sure you are already following, as you always do. Sister Tapua is back, but she's still fixing her mic. So let's hear from Sister Ida, and then we'll come back to Sister Tapua later. Sister Ida, are you able to share your thinking on what you've heard?
Yeah, but I'm not over sure. I think what it's saying is that Thales considered himself a revolutionary as opposed to a reformist, and that he didn't agree with the social inequalities of the time. He didn't agree with the religious lot or religious people who considered themselves gods, and that he rejected a lot of a rejection of social inequalities is precisely that which is common to all just single societies or single ways of thinking at the time. And so I think his belief was more that it was nature rather than gods who ruled. I think that's what I've got out of this.
And I think your thinking is right.
Oh, okay.
So thank you for sharing your thinking.
Thank you.
Because it's hard that you always seem to get to the essence of the thinking.
Really? Well, I you know, I
Yeah,
found
you do.
this different, but I mean, it didn't really, nothing really stood out as such. But
But you
apart
share
from
the
the,
essence of the thinking there. So thank you very much, as you always do. Get to the crux of the matter. Well done. Thank you. Let's hear from Brother Simon Chibi, or Chibi, as you probably pronounce it. Forgive my pronunciation. You can always correct me.
Thank you.
Is it Chibi or Chibi? Or Chiba?
Simon Chibi.
Chibi, yes.
Chibi.
Yeah, if you say Chibi in England, they will say no, sir. It's Chiba, you know, because they pronounce CHI as in child, or you know, so the chi sound, you know. So, and BI is by, or you know, like bicycle and biannual. So no sir, it's Chiba. Anyway, Chibi, thank you very much. Please share your thinking.
Yes, the paragraph is quite clear that there is always the social aspect.
Chibi, it's clear to you.
Or,
It's not clear to us. So share with us your clarity. Thank you.
okay, that's what I'm saying. The paragraph tried to put that in society, there is always something which is very valuable in society. We should be respected, and also even the respected people in the society, they have also to respect that societal norms which are very important. So they are saying whatever is happening in the society, whatever activities of society, the society is so crucial. There should be knowledge of the norms and the importance of each society, so that you don't undermine the society and their norms. You also have to uphold the importance of each society that you are working with, despite being a politician or on social issues, or despite being a leader or whatever, the society is quite important. So this is what is the paragraph is trying to portray with the three words that we have discussed. We have given definition from there. It simply reflects the society, its composition, and the people who are there, whether they are leaders, whether they are common people in the society. There is what is very, very critical and important for each society, which need to be respected and also to be upheld in the society, despite who is leading the society, who is talking to the society, or who is working with the society. So that's my thinking. Thank you.
Thank you for your thinking. I have a question for you. So sometimes when you share your thinking, I'll ask questions. So in terms of what you shared, your thinking, thank you for thinking. Do you think that Thales respected the heaven-sanctioned aristocratic society? Do you think that's what he did?
Yes, I think during that time we have to respect that, because those are the norms and the importance of the society. Despite the society you are talking about, those norms and the values of the society remains the same. So I think he also respected those norms.
So
Thank you.
question, if he respected them, why do you think he set them aside in terms of the explanations of nature? So Thales said that we should explain society in terms of water and put the gods aside, which is what I think the paragraph is saying. So in light of what you are saying, are you saying that Thales' replacement for the priesthood, for the priests, and his replacement are the merchants who now hold power because they are able to trade. So do you think that what Thales is saying is that instead of respecting the priests, let's now respect the merchants, because they now have the power, they now have the money, because they are trading on the waters. So I mean, what do you think? Do you think that is what he's saying? I mean, going by what you said, then it looks like he's saying that let's respect this group of people, but then let's not respect this group of people. Yeah? Well, what do you think?
Yeah. Yes, as you are saying, whenever you are looking at a group of people, a community, there is always nature that's interact with the people, and the nature sometimes tells the direction of how the people respond to certain issues within their community or within the society, because nature cannot be manipulated, it's just natural. So that's why I was saying, even if those who have authority comes in, they also have to respect the nature and treat nature and value the nature. That's why there was mentioning of the nature and the trading water and the flowing of the nature within the community. Thank you.
Now, before I go, last question. Do you think that there's a link between Thales' advice to the Ionian states? This is the first paragraph that Pigeon read. His advice to them to unite, and Nkrumah's advice to the freedom fighters who became presidents in Africa after the Second World War to unite. Do you think there is a parallel there? Because they didn't listen to Thales, and they also didn't listen to Nkrumah. Do you think there's a parallel there?
I may say it might not be parallel, but sometimes it was like misunderstanding. When Nkrumah was talking about respecting the values of the freedom fighters and the African leaders, was saying this is the society that he was having. He was specifically focusing on that society, which was very important, which have norms, which have to be respected. And the nature within those society, they also controls those. While in those other, with Stanley, he was also trying to portray the same, but these were said in different arenas, different environment, and the different geographical features, and the situation which was surrounding the situation or the circumstances were quite different, but nature remains the same because people have to respect the nature that they have. That's my thinking.
Thank you. Final question before you go, if you don't mind. Do you think that Thales was a revolutionary or a reformist? That's my final question. What is your thinking? Was Thales a revolutionary or a reformist? Which one do you think?
Yes, I think he was a reformist because he reformed from there. Although he was not a revolutionary, he was a reformist who also think in the same way the revolutionaries will also think about it. That's my thinking.
Okay, thank you very much for your thinking. Someone might share their thinking that will be slightly different from yours, but just listen to what other people also have to share. Thank you very much for sharing your thinking. So this is a Consciencism class where we share our thinking, and everybody has a right to think. And although not all of us think the same way or think the same thing, we all have a right to think, and that is our right, our civil right, our human right, our right as Africans to think for ourselves. So thank you. We're still sharing our thinking. Let me now go to Statapua and to share her thinking if her internet is now stable.
Hello, everyone. I've been looking at the last sentence, that in metaphysics, which implies this rejection. Yes.
So we read two paragraphs.
All right.
You are looking at the last sentence. That's interesting. Yes, please. Why the last sentence, I don't know. But anyway, can you share your thinking, please? Thank you.
Right. Particularly the last phrase that says, those who assert the unity of nature and of different kinds of things as only different manifestations of the same thing. I'm looking at the words different kinds, which means when you look at things, they look different. But he's saying those things that look different are only different in how they are seen, because they're the same thing. And I'm puzzled because as human beings, we look at one thing. If it looks different, we then say possibly the source of it is also different. But he is saying the manifestations that we see of the differences in society is not that they're different, but is that they're the same, but they show differently. So when we're looking at, for me, when we're looking at things, when we're looking at being African and when we're looking at being human beings, what he is saying for me is, although we appear different, we are all a result of our interaction in nature and therefore are the same, which means we must accept everyone for who they are, because we are all part of nature. That's what I've got from there.
Yeah, but sister, thank you very much, Sister Tapua, for sharing your thinking. But please, can you also address the rest of the paragraph and the first paragraph? Because you only picked one sentence. Sorry, one paragraph. One sentence in the paragraph. And we read two paragraphs. So are you able to link your thinking, what you just shared with us, with the rest of the paragraph and the paragraph before?
I'm going to link it with the first paragraph in that what I understand he is saying is, if we don't accept the differences and accept that the differences are a result of being part of nature, then we will get undone. In other words, we ignore the unity of nature at our own expense. So, for example, those people who think that Africans are outside the realm of humanity or being human are doing so at their own expense, because they'll be undone, because they're going to be proven otherwise.
You finished?
Yes.
Or can I ask you a question?
Yes,
so what
please.
you're saying is that if we take the colors, the basic colors of red, orange, yellow, green, indigo, and violet, these are all one thing. They are waves.
Yes.
But the current is here. You can correct me if I go wrong. So these are all waves. But the reason we see something as red and not as violet is because the item we are seeing, if it is a red, is reflecting a certain wave length that our eyes pick, which is why we see it as red. And if we see it as orange, it's because that which is orange because our eyes has decoded the waves, the light waves, as orange. So all colors are waves, the same thing, because of waves, but they manifest differently as red. Is that what you're saying? I mean, as an example.
Yes, what I'm saying, I would go a step further and say there are people who are colorblind, who don't see certain colors. And from their point of view, those are the colors that they're able to perceive are the colors that they believe are there. But it does not mean that other colors do not exist. So there's also part of nature. And the fact that we see things in one way should not necessarily lead us to discount those who see things in another way, because they are also part of nature. So in other words, for us to appreciate the joys of the rainbow, the colors of the rainbow, we've got to accept that we will see things differently.
So,
and we're still part of nature.
So for the example you've given, there are people who are colorblind and they can't enjoy the rainbow. But they can still see nature in a certain way.
Yes.
Then there are those whose brains are wired differently, so that when we are all seeing red, they are seeing yellow. But they say, no, it's red. They say, no, it's yellow. They say, no, it's red. So then there's an argument between the two groups or the two people. One is saying it's red, the other says it's yellow.
Yes.
So in this case, they are not colorblind, but their brains are registering a different wavelength.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, you can add to that if you want, and then that's fine, and then I'll move on. But if you want to end there too, that's fine.
Yes, I think that's a cautionary statement for us, because whilst we might see things in one way, we need to accept that some people will see things in another way, and it does not mean that there's inequality.
Yeah, thank you. One thing I realized, I've lived in this country now for a long time. I'm sure Brother Glenroy has lived here longer than I have. But one thing I have come to realize living here is that it is not true that Caucasians or white people think we are inferior. That's what I have realized. I've realized that it's not that they think we are inferior, but that at heart, they really don't see us as inferior. They just see us as different. And then sometimes some of the comments that I hear, not from the society as a whole, but from individuals, then gives you a different picture. So for example, someone would say, "Oh, aren't black babies beautiful?" Now, this is coming from a white woman, yeah. Aren't black babies beautiful? So then you realize that it's not that they think the black babies are inferior, which is what society tries to portray, but actually they like you. But there are institutions in place that sometimes says treat people this way or treat people that way. But then when you meet individuals, you see that actually they have a high regard for you. They think very highly of you, even though you are a black person. So thank you for that. We are still sharing our thinking. Let's go to brother Pigeon. Thank you, Brother Pigeon. Can you share your thinking, please? Thank you.
Thank you. On the first paragraph, I'm ready. On balcony.
We can't hear you properly.
Can you hear me?
It's better now, but you need to. Yes, it's better now. Yeah.
If you can hear me, I'm saying in the first paragraph, I'm taking the word balkanized. And the balkanization of the Ionian states, which to me appears to be the same balkanization of Africa, but I don't understand on what basis was the Ionian state balkanized. But having a balkanized state, they're now here, Thales affirms or firmly urge for unity, which is something very interesting because you could see beyond their differences, probably in their balkanization, and you could still see that there's some element of unity or commonality. Then by urging for unity, it could still work irrespective of them being in a balkanized states. Then I'm also looking at the aspect of...
Before you go on, you asked a question. Do you want someone to respond? Because you asked, in what way are they balkanized? Did you want an answer before you continue?
Yeah, please.
So they were balkanized. If we go by what we have read so far, they were balkanized on the basis of the merchant class. So different states had different merchant class now controlling it, and they didn't want to share power. So each group controlled each state, and Thales was saying, "Why don't you unite?" And they said, "No, we don't want to know." So if you compare it to Africa, like you were saying, you have Ghana, the president of Ghana, not interested in talking to the president of Togo. The president of Ghana wants to be his president of Ghana, not interested in what any other presidency. The president of South Africa wants to be president of South Africa, not interested in what Ghana. In fact, they belong to a group called the African Union, where they say, look, you don't interfere in my state, I don't interfere in your state. So, yeah. So, on what basis were they balkanized? On the basis of the aristocratic class, which is the merchant class.
Okay. Thank you for that. Now, then that goes deeper to what you now explain in the second paragraph on the commonality, which it says that the last part is precisely that which is common to all monists. So to him, he could see them as one being, as one people, irrespective of the class balkanization. He could see them still as one people, and he asserted that now when he says that he asserted the unity of nature, that we are one. But as he says, they never listened to him, and they were duly undone. Now, this is a very interesting balkanization. And like the balkanization, yes, in Africa, we face now beyond that. We face beyond class balkanization. We have religious balkanization and now so-called the Berlin borders balkanization. And this now presents a lot of challenges. I think when Nkrumah was talking about unity of Africa, in that aspect, he was referring to unity. I don't know what was happening. Can you see my screen?
Sorry?
Are you able to see the book?
Yes, we can.
Okay. Nkrumah was thinking unity beyond borders. But here now, the balkanization of class, here we have balkanization of three categories: balkanization of religion, balkanization of sexuality, balkanization of borders, and balkanization even into language aspect. Then I'm reading the aspect that, okay, the last part of that sentence is that they failed to listen to that. And therefore, being undone, either they were defeated. This is like a very, very eminent to us as a people, that if we fail to recognize our unity, what Nkrumah says, that the forces that unite us outweigh the forces that actually divide us. If we fail to do this, we might also end up the way the Ionian states ended up, or we might be in that state already. But now in the second paragraph, I'm trying to read what it says, that the earliest philosophy carried the implication of, not merely that the earliest philosophy carried the implication of political and social nature, and so were warmly connected to the actualities of life. So yeah, what I'm interested in this second paragraph is actually the aspect of a revolutionary as opposed to a reformist. And the reformist, I think, is trying, that person is trying just to make the same system work. You're trying to punch somewhere here, you believe that if you correct this and make this, it can still work. But a revolutionary is somebody who thinks the total system need a total overhaul. The thinking and the basis and the foundation need to be changed completely. And that's what I'm getting here. And the aspect of now the inequality I'm saying about is the same inequality we're having. If you leave them even in balkanization as terms of class, it's still the inequality between the poor and the rich, the inequality between the so-called various skin pigmentation, the inequalities between genders. And now to the aspect that if we can realize our commonality or in our unity as one, then we might overcome all these social inequality that manifest themselves in different ways. Basically, that's what I'm reading from here.
Okay, so I think let's deal with two concepts here then before we carry on. Who is a revolutionary, number one, and who is a reformist? So let's get a clear understanding of who is a revolutionary. Brother Carrington, are you able to share that with us? And then,
is it sharing my thinking or just the definition?
Share your thinking, not definition. Share your thinking.
Okay.
Brother, you're okay to search, it's fine. But brother, Carrington, share your thinking on who is a revolutionary.
Okay. Thank you. I will talk about the paragraph and then share in which sense I think Thales is a revolutionary and my personal understanding of the issue.
Okay.
So first, I would like to comment a little bit about the issue of balkanization. In addition to the balkanization of class, which you have pointed out, there is an additional famous balkanization of Greece and Ionian region according to city-states. You remember Sparta, Rome. Sparta and Athens. Rome is an Italian city. But these famous city-states would fight each other just as ferociously as they would fight the Persians, right? And this balkanization, according to city-states, is what Thales is predicting will doom the Greek civilization. And it did doom the Greek civilization. At its height, the Greek civilization actually was united under Alexander the Great, if those of you in history can remember. So where does this philosophy come from? This philosophy of unity, the philosophy of sameness of the Ionian, of the Greek, where does this come from and what are its implications? The Osagefo is trying to remind us that it is not only that society informs philosophy or our aspirations for society inform our philosophy. So it's not only that the current state of Africa informs Pan-Africanism. It is also that Pan-Africanism, if taken seriously by majority of Africans, has serious political and social implications for the African continent. Similarly, this idea of unity, of oneness, has serious social, political implications for the Greeks. One of these implications is unity across city-states. The second implication is the removal of classes and class divisions in their society. Those of you who live in the United Kingdom know that class and class divisions are something that the United Kingdom has been unable to eliminate for thousands of years. So the philosophy that Thales advanced destroys the aristocracy, and by extension, and this is why I think the definition of a revolutionary comes, and by extension, the model which these aristocratic classes use to maintain their hold over society. And in the case of the Greeks, the model that they were using was that of the pantheon, that the aristocratic class and the theological class and the monarchy are very close to God, closer than the commoner. That's why you have the high house of representatives called the Lords and the House of Commons, the House of Commoners. So this high class are closer literally and figuratively to God. Thales is undermining this model of the world. And that is the difference between a revolutionary and a reformer. A revolutionary undermines the dominant model of the world, must necessarily undermine the dominant model under which his or her society is operating. Even the class divisions that are within the Greek society manifest, interestingly, within their gods. Jupiter is the most powerful god. There are messenger gods, just like there are office messengers. So even these class divisions are within the gods themselves. And Thales is undermining all of this quote unquote nonsense and saying that everything is one. And this makes it a revolutionary idea, a dangerous idea. So there are countries that are more equal than others if you would apply this model to the African continent. South Africa, Nigeria, you know the names, Egypt. But under a single African model of the world, there's no difference between Togo and Nigeria. These are Africans. These are the same people with the same importance. So undermining the model under which people operate is also very important. And this is where monism, this idea of everything is one, ties back to our earlier chapter. The idea of all comes from matter, all comes from material. And this, again, is a dangerous idea that needs further reconsideration. Thank you. So that's what I found interesting in these two paragraphs. Thank you.
So who is a revolutionary again?
A revolutionary is not someone who wants to carry a gun and shoot people. A revolutionary is someone who wants to undermine the dominant model under which societies operate, because your model of the world tells you what you can do in that world. If you think your job is to serve the political class, like Kenyans have thought for 60 years, then you will be quiet and serve your place in Kenya. But if you question the power of the political class over you, then you automatically become a revolutionary. So the problem is the thinking rather than the action.
And who is a reformist again?
A reformist is someone who thinks that the model needs to be modified just a little bit. Maybe instead of a homeless working class, we can have a working class with the dormitories. That is a reformer.
Okay.
A revolutionary will ask why the aristocracy owns castles. Yeah.
So, you said that the Greek states were united under Alexander the Great. Is that correct?
They were united, but in a very funny way of unity. In practice, what happened is that he conquered all of them. Yes. Yes.
So do you consider that to be the kind of unity that Nkrumah was talking about?
No.
If a military general so conquers Greek city-states and then unites them under his rule, that is his head, and he's the hegemon, is that the kind of unity that Thales was talking about?
No, because, and there's a reason for this, because of Alexander the Great's force of personality, he was able to do it. He was able to unite a very, very large empire. But as soon as he died, somewhere in Eastern Europe or in India, I forget where, the entire empire collapsed and Greece collapsed as a single political unity for the next few centuries, and it was overrun by the Romans. So we cannot, and Thales was probably not advocating for this form of unity. Let's call it a forced unity. Yes.
So he died in the palace of Nebuchadnezzar the second.
In Persia.
In Babylon,
Yeah.
located in present-day Iraq.
Yes. Yeah.
He died on June 10th or 11th, 323 BCE. And at a very young age, 32.
32. Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
The exact cause of his death remains a topic of historical debate. But some of us don't see him as Alexander the Great. We see him as Alexander the Thief. Because remember that he was tutored by Aristotle. And Aristotle was a student of the ancient African philosophers. And Aristotle knew the libraries of ancient Egypt, and knew the value of the books. So he tutored Alexander and got him to go there, conquer Alexandria, and then which was then named after him, Alexandria. And then Aristotle then stole a lot of the manuscripts in the Alexandria library, and then he plagiarized them and put his names on them. So Alexander was his student, So I don't think he was great at all. I think he was a thief. Anyway, that's a debate for another time. So we've heard from a lot of us. Let's now hear from a lady. Sister Mara, ask if you were able to speak now. You haven't responded in the chat, so I will assume that you can, and share your thinking with us. Thank you.
Thank you, Brother Kami.
You're welcome.
So I'm going to link the first paragraph to my understanding of a previous paragraph where it says that Thales said that everything came from water.
Yes, he explained nature is water, yes.
And therefore everything that came from water is one. And then Brother Kwame, you explained that was the time when the European nautical history was beginning.
Yeah, the reason he used water was because of the navy, the Greek navy. So they were able to trade around the world, and they made a lot of money. So the wealth of the states wasn't now coming from agriculture, which needed you to ask the gods for help when it didn't rain. So they had ships that sailed, and so the source of wealth became trading, and trading was on water because the ships sailed on water. So he used water to explain the world. Yeah.
And then I think it was also in the second paragraph, if I'm not mistaken, or where what he's trying to do is usurp the prevailing thinking of that time, where the priests had power and control over the societies.
Yes, and that is because since the wealth of the society now depended on water, that is ships sailing on water and trading, and not on agriculture, then there was no need to put value on the priesthood anymore. Does that make sense? So that is why he wanted the aristocrat. That is he didn't want the priests now to wield power because they were not irrelevant. See, the reason they were relevant was because sometimes it doesn't rain, and you have to sacrifice to God or the gods, so there's rain, and so on and so forth. Now you don't need the rain; you don't need that anymore. So they became irrelevant.
So what Thales did there is really exemplifying the first bit of the second paragraph, where he's looking at society, it's changing, and he's trying to make sense of it, and he's philosophizing. But then I had problems with the internet as I was working, but then I caught the tail end of the question that you asked Brother Carrington, to say that was he a revolutionary. I think.
Yeah, I asked Brother Chibi.
My apologies.
Initially, yeah, whether he saw Thales as a revolutionary or a reformist. Interestingly, Brother Chibi thought Thales was a reformist, and then Brother Carrington thought Thales was a revolutionary. So we have a difference of opinion in the class.
I think Thales was a revolutionary for his people as long as they were, as long as he deemed them coming from water. And I contrast that with what Kwame Nkrumah is saying in the second paragraph, where for him, we should be monists, which says everything, water included, air, we're all the material part of the universe. So I think Thales, his revolution was very selective. It was for those rich merchants. It was power. Still, it was holding on to power, you know. But for them, when they were sailing to those, when they docked at those, whatever coasts they docked at, I'm sure when they were plundering and trading in people and whatever else they could get their hands on, the people that they were trading were not part of water. They were just objects for them. So I think his revolution, it might have been a revolution for trading and commerce, the commercial class, the mercantile class, but it was very selective, which I think is totally different from what Kwame Nkrumah is saying. Kwame Nkrumah is saying, no, this philosophy shouldn't be making one class special over the others, because one class has the money and the power to.
Can you hold your thought there whilst I ask you a question?
Yes.
So what you're saying is that Thales may have been a revolutionary, but only for his class.
Yes.
So let me ask you a question. So when we had the 2007 collapse, central banks in the West began to print a lot of money. And they gave those monies to organizations that were said to be too big to fail. And before that, you remember the World Bank and IMF will tell African countries not to print a lot of money. But when their economies collapsed, that's exactly what they did. But then they gave the money to a particular class, which is the banking class.
Yes.
So would you say that in that sense, central banks were revolutionary, but only for a particular class? Do you think there are similarities there?
I see that selectiveness there. It was something, at first people didn't think that the government would do anything about it because they thought it was just too big of a problem, but they did it anyway. So yes, I think that's a tendency that we still see. Idealists don't tend to change. Idealists don't tend to change their core principles and values, even though times change. But you see that the ways they think, they're still the same. Very selective. For one thing for them, another thing for the other people.
So can you come back to revolutionary again?
Yes.
Why do you think Thales was a revolutionary?
For his class, he had it seemed he was a philosopher, a thinker. So he was probably.
So my question is, what is it in his perspective, and what he said and wanted to do that made him a revolutionary?
Telling all these states to come together. I don't know much about the history of that time, but perhaps they didn't see it, they didn't take him seriously because they had never done it before and they didn't understand him. It was a new idea to them, and they had they thought maybe, what if the other state controls just control my,
Okay.
So in that sense, it might have been a new idea for them.
Okay. So let me share with the class something, and then we can build it from there. So underpinning every society is a principle. Yeah, every society has a principle. You might call it the core principle on which that society is built. Every society has one. Now we know from Consciencism that there are only two principles. The principle is either materialist or it is idealist. Yeah. So if that is the case, then we can say that Thales is the society that Thales was in initially had an idealist principle as its basis, which is the aristocratic class, the priesthood, yeah, the heaven-sanctioned aristocratic priesthood. So they were the principle. So they were based on the principle of spirit and ideas. On one hand, do you understand that? Now, the other principle that society can be based on is the materialist principle that everything comes from matter. So even though Thales may have been using water, which I agree with you, Sister Myra, is not all of matter, it's just one part of matter, which is from our position, because we don't say water, we say matter, which includes everything. Now, so you can see the reason that Thales was revolutionary was because he was changing the principles. This is a crucial understanding. You need to understand this. I'll repeat it. The reason Thales was a revolutionary was because he was replacing one principle with another. That is why it is revolutionary. So if a society is based on idealism, and then you change that to materialism, then you have caused a revolution. If a society is based on the idealist principle, and all you do is tinker with it, change things here, change things there, then you are reformist. Same with materialism. If a society is based on materialism and you don't change it, then you are reformist. If you change it to an idealist society, then you are a revolutionary. So you can have an idealist revolutionary and you can have a materialist revolutionary. So to summarize, let's bear in mind that it is a principle. Yeah, we'll come to chapter 3 later. It's a principle upon which society is governed that tells us whether a philosophy and an ideology is revolutionary or not. Does that make sense, Mr. Myra?
Yes.
Because you are on the floor. So can you summarize your then we'll go to whether.
Can I explain what I think about second paragraph, which leads very nicely from what you've just explained?
Can you explain what you mean?
Okay, so I think the second paragraph, as you said, Brother, Kwame Nkrumah is calling us to be revolutionaries and not just tinker around the edges of he wants us to change. He understood the damage that had been done, that we had become idealists because of the colonial influences, and he's calling us to be reverse, to tear that down and build it up again in our materialist philosophy. But can I just say,
yes. Are you saying the colonialists that came and told us there was God? we believe in God.
No. I mean that the
systems of our societies on priests before even the white man came. I'm only asking.
I think I was speaking more about the systems of governance that we have now, the economies and that kind of thing.
Okay.
But can I just say this is why this second paragraph is exactly why I totally disagree with brothers and sisters that say we can work with institutes that already exist and work with the governments to change. We cannot. We cannot. We need to be revolutionary. Thank you.
And if we could, why didn't colonialism stay? Why didn't the colonial masters say, and then we work with them? So I'm agreeing with you.
Because using colonial solutions to solve our problems is like using a dirty rag to clean a wound.
Excellent. Brother Joseph, you've had your hand up for a while. Thanks for your patience.
Yeah, I just want to say that I think Brother Carrington said it the way I might have said it. But the reason why I would say first of all, even the concept of changing from the pantheism to monotheism or monoism can be traced back to Egypt. Akhenaten, that pharaoh, introduced the concept of one deity or one God, which is carried over in Christianity in some way, or which was stolen by what Western Christianity, although they had it at this a distortion with the three person in the one God thing. So it can be situated back to Africa. And I agree with you that, Brother Komi, that Alexander the Great was not a great, but he was a thief. But nonetheless, we cannot ignore the influence they have had on the modern world or the evolution of Europe and so on, and then Europe colonizing the rest of the world. But one of the reasons why I would say, you see, I think what Thales was trying to say, when you have hierarchy of value, so that you can decide which is valuable, like in capitalism, at one time, certain things may not have any value, and all of a sudden they become valuable. Or like countries might be said to be poor and underdeveloped, but like for instance, Guyana right now is considered one of the fastest growing economy and that kind of thing. Whereas up until a few years ago, it was considered a poor country. It's when you place values, and in this case, economic value on something or people, or devalue them. This is very dangerous. And what I think Thales was saying, look, everything is of equal, whether it's in nature or in person. I think that was he meant at. And I think to me, that is revolutionary because transformational. It's saying that layering of the citizenry or the people based on either the pantheon of gods or whatever it is inconsistent with a free society. I mean, I'm using the word free society now because maybe that was not used then, but I think we need to see the threat. And I think in that case, this is what Kwame Nkrumah was about. And we need to really look at seriously.
In that case, can I ask, Brother Joseph, can I ask you a question? So if you think that Akhenaten and his enunciation of monotheism, do you think that was a good thing?
Obviously,
I'm asking
a good thing because
I'll tell you why I'm asking. Sorry. I'm asking because that one God, is that one God a man or a woman?
Well, I'm not too sure whether it was a man or a woman, but the idea, because there was a lot of conflict based on the pantheon of God in Egypt. I mean, there were a lot of difficulties, and he sought to straighten out the thing by promoting the idea of one God rather than all these.
But then, Brother Joseph, somebody would argue that that's precisely the problem. If you promote one God, that there is only one God, that one God happens to be a man, then you have the basis for an idealist society also based on patriarchy and domination of women. Now, on the other hand, if that one God is a woman, then you have also the potential for the domination of men, and so on. But if you
I hear what you're saying.
Hold on. So, but if you have a Godhead that is both male and female, man and woman, then suddenly both sexes are accounted for in God. The traditional group from where Sister Ida comes from, the Ghana people, they say they refer to God as Ata Na Nyongmo, meaning that who is both male and female, and that for them is God. So I'm just throwing this out. I'm not saying you are right or wrong. I'm just saying that if monotheism is seen as a good thing in a revolutionary sense, what do you think when people say, well, that can lead to inequalities?
Obviously, and I agree with you, but you see, there was a time in Egypt where I forgot her name, who the queen, or the pharaoh, who had ruled Egypt. In fact, there is and I want to ask that we do something on that one of the Saturdays, where this woman rule equally with her husband. And even when he was dismembered by her, I forget his name now, and her name, he was dismembered by his brother because of jealousy.
He went to Osiris and Isis.
Yeah, that was the Greek called and yeah, I mean, although
What we call
their name
Isis.
was not.
Mm,
Yeah, and I mean, so I'm not promoting. I'm not a chauvinist, and I'm just mentioning that even the concept of monism came from Africa, from Egypt. The Greeks borrowed that.
But
I'm just saying that.
Yeah, brother Joseph, once again, there's always say, well, that is a problem because Africa seems to be the birthplace of a lot of ideas, some of them not so good. For example, the Moors who were to conquer Spain, what did the Spanish ever do to them for them to go and conquer them? And then, having conquered them, whatever happened there, in the end, when Constantinople fell, they then came back and conquered us. If the Moors hadn't gone to conquer Spain, then that wouldn't have happened. So maybe they had no business going to Spain in the first place.
Yeah, maybe, but I'm just
Africa,
what I'm saying.
Yeah, so Africa is the origin of a lot of ideas, but not all of them so good.
I'm not saying it was good or bad. I'm just saying that even the concept of the monoism,
monotheism.
Yeah, I'm just saying that. I mean, and I agree with you. We could examine it, whether it was patriarchal or whatever. I'm not saying. I'm just saying the collection. But the thing about why I want to hone in on the fact that both Kwame and Thales, they were revolutionary, and I mean in the context of the time they lived, they were seeing things differently. Like Amilcar Cabral said, when a people who was enslaved or colonized regained any form of freedom, he said that they should go back to the higher element of their culture. And what we have done, I mean, by and large, of ex-colonized, ex-oppressed, we have continued the system that colonized us. And I think what Kwame and the guy in Greece at the time, or in Greek, was saying, change the damn thing. And by the way, let me just add, today is two significant days in the world. Today is the 51st anniversary of the commencement of CARICOM. Unfortunately, CARICOM have not done much, even though the stated objective is unity, because they still continue to follow the pattern, and the sister that spoke before, I agree with her. You cannot work with systems that oppress you or continue to oppress you to hope to get transformation and liberation. You can't. I think Marcus Garvey has explained that too. You have to really go back to that which is essentially you. And most of us are afraid of. And it's very difficult because, first of all, one of the things that we are tied into in terms of the connection, we use the language form, we use the imagery of all of that. And it's not going to be, say, overnight, we won't get over that. But there has to be, and you said something about the aspiration, about things that change, or the sister said it, both by the philosophy for, it's not coming now, but the intention must be to work towards that transformation. And sometimes you make backward steps, and sometimes you make forward leaps. But the idea is to really rid yourself over that. I mean, people have problem with me because they say, oh, you're too extreme. No, you have to get rid of it, because people praise the banking system, they praise, or they believe in it. I mean, because you say, well, so it is. Yeah, so it is now, but our ultimate is to capsize it. And I think what Thales was saying, as what even Marx and all that were saying later on, is that society where everyone is equal and not based on status and social or whatever, say that everyone is equal. I'm not saying that necessarily that their prescription is correct for us, but we have to work towards where people are not treated based on status. They're treated for the value of what they contribute. From each according to from each according to his ability, to each according to his need.
But then others will go ahead and say that that should not even be the basis.
Well, of course.
It should be the basis of their humanity. So a baby cannot contribute much, but that baby as a human being is just as valuable as an adult who works and creates value. Anyway, thank you for your contribution. We'll come back to you, brother Joseph.
Yeah, the other significant
let's hear somebody else's thinking.
Let me make the other significant date with a big form of hypocrisy is today is the United States anniversary of independence, when, you know, while they were declaring their independence, the enslaved people were not considered part of that equation. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Co-host, keep an eye on the waiting room. Yeah, thank you very much. So let's hear from. We've heard from a lot of people. Let's hear from. So we heard from Sister Myra, and then Brother Joseph chipped in with an extended viewpoint. Thank you both. Now let's hear from another man. This time, let's hear from DJ Mr. P. That's if he's ready. If he's not finished in the kitchen and can now speak. If not, I'll come back to you, brother DJ Mr. P. Are you still in the kitchen, sir?
I'm always in the kitchen. It's a never-ending story in there.
Please remember some of us. We also need to be in the kitchen.
Peace and Pan-Africanism to everybody. Ubuntu we stand, divided we fall. So yeah, based on what I've heard, I haven't heard everything tonight. I do apologize. I've missed out.
That's what happens if you spend too much time in the kitchen.
Yeah. And I was actually in the garden as well.
When the blender is sounding, you can't hear anything because the blender is on.
That's right. Yeah. But anyway. I just really wanted to touch on and extend on what both Sister Myra and also Brother Joseph. Joseph, it's great to have you back on the calls. We've missed you for the last few weeks.
In fact, DJ Mr. P, can you just hold your thought there?
Sure.
Brother Joseph, where's Sister Pamela? We miss her so much. I hope she will come back. Because when she reads, I go to sleep because she reads so beautifully.
I was trying to get her, but she went to vote today, and even after the vote, I was trying to encourage her to come.
Yeah. Is it voting in the UK or voting in the Caribbean?
No, voting in the UK. She's in the UK.
Yeah, no, thanks.
I think she told me over, the last 2 days she was very tired, so maybe that's why she didn't come.
Yeah, thank you very much. I'm sure she will join us next time. DJ Mr. P, thanks for your patience. Please continue.
Oh, you're welcome, my brother. You're welcome. And also, Joseph, I hope that you and your family and friends weren't too badly affected by Beryl, because I heard quite a few people died there in Grenada. And right now, Jamaica is taking some licks from the same hurricane. So good to have you back on the call, brother. Just really wanted to extend on the points made and the distinction between revolution and reforming. I'm quite clear on that, and I agree very much with Sister Myra and Joseph. And that's why I posted that message in the chat. I really believe that our biggest problem that we have as Africans, doesn't matter where we are in the world, on the continent or in a diaspora, is we are using an alien system. The system or systems that have been put in place that we're currently utilizing and conforming to, if you like, are not ours. They've been put, when you look at Africa, the systems that are in place have been put in there by the British, the French, the Portuguese, the Dutch, the Germans. So where are our systems? So this is why when you look at the definition of the word revolution, this is why a revolution is so important for us, because we are not we're not utilizing our own systems. So it's a square peg in a round hole. We are Africans using a westernized or a Eurocentric system. So there are always going to be problems. Okay, we had our own systems going back to Mali, the great civilizations of Mali, going back to Egypt. We had our own systems. So we foolishly threw away what we had, our own spirituality. We threw away our ways of doing things. We chucked it all away. We took on, adopted, or assimilated into their system, which is not in any way serving us.
DJ Mr. P, before you continue, let me ask: do you not think you are exaggerating? That we threw things away?
I don't think I'm exaggerating, no, because when you look at the mindset of how most of us are, not only in Africa but in a diaspora as well, when you look at the mindset, we very often are not interested, do not support, or do not embrace that which is truly African. Yeah.
Okay, hold your thoughts for a moment. I'll push you again. You come from which part of Ghana? Is that correct?
Ghana, Cameroon, and Gambia. Yeah.
And Gambia. So let's take one of them. Which one do you prefer, Gambia, Cameroon, or Ghana? I want to ask you a question. That's why.
Okay.
Choose whichever you like.
All right. Let's say Gambia.
Let's say Gambia. In Gambia, are in the traditional governance systems?
In the villages, yes.
Yeah, that's what I'm asking. Are in there traditional governance systems?
Yes, in the villages, but
okay, and are they not used in the traditional setting?
Yeah, they are, but it's over.
Hold on. So that tells me that they haven't been completely thrown away.
Not completely.
That's what I meant by aren't you exaggerating? So to give another example, if you come to Ghana and you go to the Asantehene Palace, or you go to the palace of the Benimhini, or the palace of the Mampohene, or you go to the palace of the ever king, you find that they use traditional systems. So that's why I was asking that question. I think you are referring to the educated class who have accepted, not all of them, but some have accepted
most not all.
And remember in chapter 1, when we looked at chapter 1, Brother Pigeon usually is very good at taking us to chapter 1 very quickly on the screen, and then we can see where Nkrumah said,
introduction.
Yes, where Nkrumah said that some of us were we just accepted everything hook, line, and sinker. So that you remember we read that paragraph where the 3 types of students, and remember, Brother DJ Mr. P. Remember when we read that paragraph about the 3 types of students, and the ones that give their soul.
It's on my screen.
Yes.
Oh, I see him scrolling up now. Yeah.
Yes. Which one? Read it for us so we can see.
The last paragraph.
So armed. Yeah. So armed with the universalism.
You want me to read it?
Yes.
Yeah.
You can read from.
Sorry, can you zoom in a bit, please?
Us armed with the universalism.
Yeah, I see the paragraph, but can you just enlarge it a bit, please?
This paragraph.
Yeah. Okay. Great. Thanks.
Armed with their universalism,
before that, go to the paragraph before this, because I think that is very instructive. The paragraph before this one. Yeah, that paragraph. Because that's what I think Brother DJ Mr. P is referring to, in my humble opinion.
It says, this defective approach to scholarship was suffered by different categories of colonial students. Many of them had been handpicked and, so to say, had certificate of worthiness with them. These were considered fit to become enlightened servants of the colonial administration. The process by which this category of students became fit usually started at an early stage.
Hold on to that thought. Go to the paragraph before that one, where the paragraph starts with a colonial student does not, by origin, that paragraph. So scroll up.
Yes, a colonial student does not by origin belong to the intellectual history in which the university philosophers are such impressive landmarks. The colonial student can be seduced by these attempts to give philosophical accounts of the universe that he surrenders his whole personality to them.
So hold on there. So DJ Mr. do you see what I'm getting at?
Yeah.
So you are referring to those students who give their whole personality to this system that you are referring to, that that's it. They are lost to us.
Okay. Yes. Yeah. But I wouldn't just. Oh, sorry. Go on.
Yeah. No. You go on.
Yeah. I wouldn't limit that. The reason why I said what I said was I'm not just limiting it to it from an academic level or the students. Not at all. What I'm saying and what I'm seeing is, let's take, for example, the ordinary or average person in Africa. For example, why do our women bleach? Why do they want to wear wigs or relax their hair?
Yeah, but brother,
these are typical examples.
You know that not all our women bleach.
No. Of course, of course.
And
out there.
Yeah,
but I'm not talking about the majority. When I'm speaking, I'm not saying every single person. I'm just saying 80-20. Yeah, if we just look at the 80-20 split, I'm saying majority of the people don't want to embrace who we are, what we have, and even a lot of people.
Yeah, but hold on, James. We're having a discussion. But I will ask you, why is that? I mean, if the people sent you and I to school to go and acquire tools to come and help them make better decisions, and some of us, like myself, are abroad, we haven't gone back home. Some of those who are at home, once they are voted into office, like parliamentarians, they never visit the village again until the next cycle of election. Those who are scientists and so on do not come and use their scientific knowledge to help the people who send them to school. Then what do you expect? So I think that we, the educated class, need to take responsibility for our failure rather than blaming people.
Yeah. Partly.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think that we have accounted properly in humility to our people.
Can I come in?
Yeah, so when the sisters want to come in, we have to let them come in.
That's Marlene. Hello, Marlene.
Hello. Sorry,
let's give away.
Yeah.
I've been away for a long time. Over 3 months.
Long time.
Over 3 months I went away.
Sister Marlene, welcome back. I know you were where were you?
I was in the US, and then I went to Jamaica and then back, and I'm finally home.
Oh, welcome back. I saw you speaking on Robin Walker's program in London, the London the University of South Bank. He did a program, and I saw you speaking. I said, "That's Marley."
That was a while ago.
Yeah, I watched it. I said,
Did I do well?
Very well. You articulated.
Nice one, Marlene.
Nice one. That was ages ago. I remember.
Anyway, welcome back.
I can't remember what it was about, but I do remember making a point as I usually do.
It was on that program. He was speaking about the Egyptian Book of the Dead.
The what of the day?
The Egyptian Book of the Dead.
Okay.
I think that is what he was.
Right. They must have came up with something that I felt passionate about. Anyway, what I wanted to say, listening to Mr. P and listening to you, Kwame, you're making a very valid point, Kwame, because what it is, they come to the Caribbean and Africa because the only difference between Africa and the Caribbean, the people in Africa was not taken off their land, but they were brainwashed as much as the slaves that they made us into. So they made us believe light, being white, was great. And the way they indoctrinate us, like you're saying, Kwame, we really believe it. And we took it as gospel, just like when they told us our lips was big. And I know people who used to sit and fold their lips in all day, hoping it would be thin like theirs. Now they're telling us big lips are great. They're injecting in their lips, making it big, making it deform, some of them. And everybody now embrace their big lips.
Everywhere, Sister Marlene.
The bottom they
Not
made
just their
us,
lips.
they used us as clowns with our bottom. Henrietta, was it Henrietta? I don't know, the woman they called.
Yes.
No, not her. Henrietta was when they found some genes that helped the world.
No, it's a sister that they
Sarah
had
Batman.
in the circus, had her in the circus.
Yeah, the
Sarah
other
Batman.
woman,
Yeah.
they made such a mockery out of her.
Sorry, Coco. What was that, Coco? Sorry, I think Coco was giving us the name.
Her name is Sarah Batman.
Yes, whatever her name is, I can't remember. Anyway, and that was looked upon as the laughing stock of the world. Now, everyone, they'll inject, they'll do anything to make their bottom.
Yes,
Then they
so
then they switch it. Then they told us being light, there isn't even something that said if you're light, you're all right. If you're brown, stick around. If you're black, get back. So it's the brainwashing that and like you said, Kwame, it comes from the elite embracing what the European says, and they are the one that control the mind for the European of the people. So people believe if they're lighter, they'll get a better opportunity. And that's why a percentage, and I don't believe it's 80% of Black women, I think it's probably 30%. But whenever anything is badly done, it seems as if it's the majority. Like they would make it seem as if it's the majority of Black people that commit crime, but it isn't. It's a small. Most Black people are doing very well for themselves, but the 30% that is doing horrendous things, they're so highlighted that we believe it's the mass of us that is doing things that is bad.
Thank you very much. It's good to have you back. Thank you for your contribution. We've only got 10 minutes left.
Okay.
We can't extend our session to 3 hours because I know most of you want to say more, but we still have people who haven't shared their thinking. We want to hear them, and we have to give them some time. So we've got 3 people at least. Brother DJ Mr. P, I hope you don't mind.
No, it's okay.
Zomo, Sister Shireen, Brother Coco, who haven't said anything yet. So let's ask Sister Shireen, because she can be brief sometimes, which is good. Sister Shireen, can you share your thinking with us? If Sister Shireen is not ready, I don't think she is. Let's go to Brother Coco, and then we'll come back to Sister Shireen. Brother Coco.
Revolutionary greetings, comrades. Do you hear me?
Yep.
Thank you very much.
Yes, my brother.
Yes, Sister Marlene, so good to hear you, your voice. So good to have you back, and what a contribution you've made. Brother Kwame, as much as I would like the finger to point at me and my own and say, okay, we are responsible for where we are, we have to accept that we're given colonial indoctrination, and we have to deal with that. Unfortunately, not majority of us are awake to that fact. So what they are doing is they are tantalizing us with what it looks like to be a colonial master in Africa. And the elites who adopted that sort of got carried away with that. And what they did then was to promote the European values amongst ourselves. And that's what happened. So reform there doesn't mean, okay, get rid of anything European and only go back to how things were in Africa before the Europeans came. We just have to recognize that we are thinking in Eurocentric terms now. Let's get rid of that and go back to Afrocentricity and realize that we can actually revolutionize Africa by embracing Africa. And if we keep on clinging to European values ahead of the African values, then we are in trouble. It's more or less what Thales was saying to the Ionians there. And the Ionians did not listen to him.
But Brother Coco,
yeah.
Do you not think that some European values are good? Do you think it's all that is bad?
I never said that.
I'm not saying you said that. I'm asking.
There will be some stuff which could actually improve us, and we have to be open-minded. But at the same time, we have to realize that it's African systems which are better for Africa. Because let's just talk about democracy. I want to vote today. I know me and you, we have opposing sides on this, but I'll keep on saying it, because we go there, we tick a box, and then we have first past the post in this country. It's either Labour or Conservatives. Nothing changes. It's the same thing. It's two sides of the same coin in that regard. What happens in Africa, we import the same system, we use it in Africa, and it doesn't change because most of those guys are already bought. They are bought by the system. But if we went and adopted our own systems where the representations were from the grassroots, all clans were represented, all nations were represented in our unity, there's no way that they're going to buy one nation at the expense of others. We need to start thinking bigger.
So, Brother Coco, you are referencing the paragraph of the sentence that starts with a revolutionary as opposed to a reformist, because you are saying we should be revolutionaries in the way we excel. No, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Sister Shireen, are you able to contribute? Okay, I think Sister Shireen is ready. Sister Chizomo, if you're able to speak where you are, because I know sometimes you're unable to. Sister Chizomo, or you're just listening? You can put information in the chat for us so we can. Yes, Sister Chizomo. Are you able to share anything on your thinking?
Yeah, sorry, I came in late. I haven't got my headset.
You have maximum 2 minutes to share with us something on the paragraph on the screen. If not, we have you on Saturday.
It's just commenting on what people have said about systems. I feel the systems have changed and they keep changing them. So it makes it difficult for people to apply systems that they don't understand. That's why we have problems with our constitutions, our legal systems, our party systems, because it's all systems that do not really apply to our own settings and environment. So it's not working out. It's not working.
Yep.
It's interesting you say that, because that's a point Nkrumah made, that if we revert to our traditional principles, then actually Africa does not need a revolution. What it needs is to align modern Africa with the traditional principles, and then we'll find out we're okay.
Yeah.
And also it's because of that lack of understanding and misapplication that our leaders have to keep going to the East, for the West for advice and how to do whatever it is these systems are telling them to do.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chizomo. So for those of you who are not aware, we will be having a session on Saturday on Malawi, just Mr. Chizomo comes from. And there'll be a presentation, and then we'll have a discussion as part of our unification program. But it's 5 minutes to 9. I'm going to pause here and hand over to Brother Pigeon to finish the last 5 minutes for us. Thank you.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you very much. It's been quite an interactive session, Questions have been asked, people have tried to respond, and I think it was more interactive in this way that you've done it today. Not that other sessions haven't been interactive, but the way that we have questions and then provoked our thinking or our thoughts in order to align it in a better way was something that's very perfect for us. Talking of the system, yes, it is very true that the systems have failed, and systems have continued to fail some of us. I was trying to look at one of my video of a member of parliament in Kenya who admitted that this is a failed system that has not worked for a period of time. I just need a total overhaul. Now, some of you might be sounding like reformists who still have some faith that we can do something to correct the system, but some might be sounding like revolutionaries who think that we should just totally overhaul the system and come up with a new system. Whatever we think is our thinking, but the best way forward is how we transfer our thoughts into action, because they said in the previous paragraph that revolution are brought up by men and women who think as men and women of action. So thank you very much for session today. Yes, on Saturday we will be looking at not Malawi particularly. After having an extensive discussion, Malawi case will be just a point of reference as one of case study, but there are other case studies that we'll have to touch on, including the Kenya situation, the South African situation, and other situation. And we thought that we need to look at it deeper. Once we understood this context, we need to look at it deeper to what we call the neocolonialism in its modern day Africa. How does it place in modern day Africa? Because we realize a lot of what happened in Malawi, there's a lot of connection on how some systems do not want some good ideas for the people to work in. And these are being done by their proxies and their so-called puppets and extensive members in Africa. So thank you very much for that. Just also to let you know that we are having a Pan-African various technical working groups. We are still working on the terms of reference and laying down some other foundation documents that are necessary in terms of starting up that various committees or subcommittees under the Pan-African technical working groups. You remember some times back, we had African Liberation Day and we discussed what next. So we agreed that we need to set up some of the committees or subcommittees that will be looking at economics, health, and whatever. And we have been doing a lot in trying to work on the basic documentations that are needed for this. Anybody who is interested to be part of any of this process, kindly feel free to join us, because this is actually a CSG-driven thing for Pan-Africanism, and we look upon all Pan-African organizations to join us. Apart from that, I would also like to, for the first time, also to acknowledge it officially. We do appreciate those who stood with us in our Zoom subscription. As you know, we did share out our Zoom subscription thank you letters to those who donated to us. And we're looking forward to to work with all of you in the next time, but also to thank all of you who spend their time to be here, because that alone is a good support for us. So we are doing a lot in terms of our Twitter and in terms of our Facebook updates, and we are coming up on what we call TikTok, where we will want us to engage also in this discussion. So we are looking forward to people who might be interested to share such of their thinking, even in a minute or two, where they can do the recording so that we can start uploading them in our TikTok account for the CSG group, which we have already. So with all that being said, we had a session on Saturday on readiness for change. The recording is ready on our YouTube channel. We'll share it tomorrow. And there's a program that has been sent by Ndadema Fole. For those who are interested to join his program, I will be circulating the documents tomorrow as well. So without further ado, Brother Kwame, permit me to end it here. Brother Kwame?
I'm giving you a sign, brother. Can't you see me?